Welcome to Adventure. This is a feature in Gaia that tries to connect two different teams in the same workflow. This is a challenge that is very common in creative industries. You have different teams taking care of different parts of the work, and they don't usually talk to each other, or they rely on different systems, usually spreadsheets, to share the content between the teams. So today we are talking about the writing team, or the game designers, the game creators, and the translation team. And this is why in Gaia we have a feature called Adventure, and we're gonna go through this feature right now. So if you see here, this is a sample project, and in the overview you can see what is the name of the project, how many lines were created, and you can see here as an example line 1. What is the type of output? There are many different types of output for Adventure. You can really segment the lines and filter them as you wish. And of course the quest types, main quest, side quests, lore, entries, whatever you want. When you have multiple lines, you can actually use the search feature here in Adventure, and you can search by content of the line, by chapter, quest type, or output mode. So let's create one right now, Adventure Setup. Here's the project, the epic. The authoring language is English. The output mode is NPC dialogue, and this is going to be a side quest. And the chapter is going to be, let's remove everything here. The chapter is going to be chapter 1. In the character profile, you can put the name, the role, the voice. In this case, I'm just gonna add his name. It's gonna be Harold. And Harold, he is the comic relief. And this quest is one of the classic quests for many RPGs. It's basically the chicken quest, right? You need to find the chickens because they went missing, somebody stole them, and you need to get them back to Harold, who is the chicken owner. So what happened before this line and what the player needs to understand now? Somebody stole Harold's chickens. You need to get them back. And in this case, the world state is I would say normal. There's nothing specifically different in the world state. The story arc, we can put this as a chicken quest. You can also add faction, class, region. This is going to be, let's create a name of a town right now. It could be the Chicken Town. And the quest structure intent. This means, what do you need to do in this quest? In this case, you need to investigate why the chickens were stolen and bring them back to Harold. Required terminology is things, words that you have to add to the quest dialogue. If you do not add them, Gaia is gonna block this content. You're not able to submit this to the project. So in this case, of course, we need to add chickens. And chicken. So plural and singular. And forbidden wording means you cannot add this specific term in the quest dialog. Otherwise, exactly as the required terminology, it is going to be blocked. You cannot submit this to the project, and I'm going to explain what submit means. So forbidden word, we're going to just, as a test, we're going to say wolf. So when you do this and you go to the draft and revision loop, you're going to see that all the information that you added to the narrative brief is going to be here. So if you click and you started, it's going basically to copy the information that you added in the narrative brief. But of course you want something different, right? So you're going to say here, Harold. Oh, somebody stole my chickens. Please help me get them back. And the next step would be submit this to the project. But before we submit this to the project, you can see here below that there are required terms needed. There's chicken, singular, and you cannot submit this to the project because it's blocked. So either you add chicken in the singular here, or you just remove this from the required terminology. Let's do this. Let's remove chicken. And now you're gonna see that you can submit this to the project. If you add wolf, I think wolf got them. It is going to be the same thing. It's going to be blocked because there's a forbidden wording there. So let's remove this. This is exactly the line that I need, and I'm going to submit this to the project. When you submit this to the project, actually, the translation memory is going to be updated. And this is the good thing about the efficiency of Gaia. You do not need two different systems. When you go to the translation grid, this line is going to be there and you can start translating. So let's go to the project here, and you can see right now that segment 22 was created, and there you go. You have now a new line and you can translate this right away. Another option is when you are creating content, you can, if this is allowed by the company and the owner of the project, you can generate content using both online AI providers or the local LLM. So let's see this. I'm gonna just remove this content. You can tell everything is gonna be removed, reset. And then I'm going to ask the LLM to generate. There are three options. You can generate the full draft and brief, you can refine existing lines, or you can expand with one extra line. But I'm going to generate the full draft and brief. The local LLM is configured on my server. You can see here it's Quen 314b. And I'm going to say that the chicken owner is called Harold. Please make this a fun quest about recovering chickens. Use a comic relief. And then when you click on generate suggestion, it's going to start the local LLM. It's going to take a while for the LLM to generate this content. And I think it's also important to mention, while this is generating, you are free to do whatever you need in this project. There you go. Now it generated. So it actually added 3 suggestions. I'm going to say, okay, Ah, you there. You look like someone who can help me out. My name is Harold and I'm proud owner of these fine chickens. Unfortunately, they've been stolen by a group of mischievous raccoons who think they are the kings of the forest. I need your help to recover them because before they end up in a raccoon stew. Can you help me track down these sneaky little bandits? So you can use this, and then there's another one. Oh dear, I'm Harold and I have a problem. And then, hey there, adventurer, etc. So you can apply the suggestions. When you click on apply this suggestion, it is going to populate everything. And then, of course, everything in Gaia is configured to have full control. So there's no way that something is going to be populated by either online AI providers or local LLM without your approval. And this is the beauty of the system. It's flexible enough to provide you with options, but you are the owner of this. So in this case, let's see if I want to change something. Unfortunately, they have been stolen by a group of who think they're kings of the forest. So I don't know who stole the chicken, so I am not going to assume that these were raccoons because it's they need to investigate. I want the players to investigate who stole the chickens. So I'm going to remove this. So I'm going to make this actually simpler. This is funny, but I don't know if this is true. So I'm just going to say, I need your help to recover them. That's it. Super simple. And then what I can do is I need to, of course, remove this required terminology. Otherwise, it's going to block. And I'm going to submit this to the project. When I submit this to the project, now you can see that there are 3 author lines. And then there you go. It appears right away. It's instant and it's available already in the translation memory and the translation grid. If you go to search, you can see now that there are 3 lines for the content that I created for this game using adventure. And then you can filter this by chapter, because I created using chapter 1 as a chapter, but the local LLM used the bandit threat. You can do this right now. You can just filter this the strings as you like. Let me show you also something important. When it comes to AI, you can either completely enable or disable AI in the entire system is not going to be accessible, or you can be very granular and allow specific providers to be in the system or not. So let's do this right now. As you can see here, I showed you that in Adventure Setup, there is this part here and you can generate content using AI. But if you do not want to do this, you can simply say disable AI and MD translation and save AI policy. When you do that, you see that there is no interface with AI, and this applies to the entire system. If you are the owner of the system, if you do not want to use AI content, you can simply disable this. Nobody's going to be able to use it because there's no button. There's nothing to interact with within the system. And if I switch this to on again, now you can see that the interface is right here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.